How astrology is a sacred science. The scientific method is a set of techniques used to investigate phenomena, gain knowledge, create and test theories, share results, and continually re-examine findings through a structured process. Science relies on evidence that can be observed and measured, based on the tools and understanding available at the time. At its core, science assumes that the universe can be understood through reasoning and observation. Historically, science and what was called sacred science were closely linked. Over time, especially during the Age of Enlightenment in Europe, these paths began to separate. The main difference between modern science and sacred science is the type of evidence each accepts. In sacred sciences, intuition and personal experiences are considered valid forms of observation and data. However, there is still a process of investigation and testing, even for these less tangible observations. For example, in astrology, new ideas are not immediately accepted just because a respected astrologer has an insight. Astrology is considered a sacred science because it relies on repeated observations, tested by many practitioners, to build its knowledge base. New concepts in astrology are only accepted if they do not disrupt established practices and theories, unless they offer a more complete understanding. A similar process can be seen in science, such as the shift from Newtonian physics to Einstein's theories and then to quantum physics. Each new theory adds to the overall system without invalidating what came before, as each applies to specific situations. Science is always changing, gradually expanding what is considered known. While much magical work uses the 7 elder planets, the discovery of Uranus provides a good example of how sacred science incorporates new findings. Uranus was discovered in 1781 by Frederick William Herschel. This was significant because it was the first planet found with a telescope, expanding the known solar system. The planet's name changed several times before Uranus became the accepted term. astrologers did not immediately assign meaning to Uranus through intuition or divination. Instead, they observed Uranus in charts over many years, both current and historical, to see what events corresponded with its positions. Through ongoing discussion, articles, and books, astrologers gradually reached agreement about Uranus's influence. This careful process of investigation is what defines astrology as a sacred science. Even a century after Uranus's discovery, debates continued about its role, such as which sign it might rule. For example, in Zadkiel's textbook of astrology from 1879, he notes that some authors assigned Aquarius to Uranus, but he preferred to wait for more evidence. About 20 years later, most astrologers accepted Aquarius as the sign ruled by Uranus. Astrology's approach to expanding knowledge also includes methods outside the traditional scientific method. Today, Uranus is associated with reform, revolution, sudden change, idealism, electricity, and higher thought. In herbalism, natural philosophy, and astrology, there is a concept called the doctrine of signatures. This idea, dating back to ancient times and developed by figures like Paracelsus and Jacob Boehme, suggests that the outward appearance of a plant, mineral, or animal reveals its inner qualities and its place in the universe. For instance, boneset is a plant whose stems appear to go through its leaves, resembling a splint. Because of this, it has been used to treat broken bones and illnesses involving bone pain. Looking at Uranus's discovery from a historical perspective, many events at that time reflected its qualities. Around the time Uranus was found, the world saw the French Revolution, the US Constitutional Convention, the invention of the electric battery, volcanic eruptions, advances in balloon flight, the birth of Lord Byron, and the creation of an early periodic table. These events all show the signature of Uranus. This approach, linking outer events to planetary discoveries, also applies to Neptune and Pluto. Neptune was first predicted through mathematics and then observed in 1846. It is associated with psychic abilities, visions, spiritual pursuits, and unity with the universe. There is a poetic quality in the fact that Neptune was calculated before it was seen. During Neptune's discovery, movements like spiritualism and groups such as the Theosophical Society and the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn emerged. Pluto, discovered in 1930, is linked to deep transformation and power. Around Pluto's discovery, the first cyclotron was built, theories about Earth's magnetic field were proposed, nuclear fission was achieved, and the early stages of World War II began. If you find this type of research interesting, you may enjoy exploring how the movements of the planets, especially the outer ones, influence the character and behavior of generations as you continue your studies.